This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association. Your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley Smith.
Well, good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Friday, March 24th, 2023. We're so glad you could join us for today's show. In today's episode, I talk with Iowa 1st District Congresswoman Ashley Hinson for our monthly chat. We also have a check of that ag weather outlook, but first, let's run down the markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
Well, we're at the end of another trading day in the ag marketplace, and for a bit of analysis, we go to Robin Schmahl of agmarket.net. Robin, what do we see going on in the grain markets today?
Well, we saw some good strength in the grain, and that was good to close out the end of a week. Big news was, as far as wheat is concerned, wheat moved up quite substantially early in the morning. Wheat was, because of Russia, indicating they might suspend exports of both wheat and maybe some sunflowers, oil seeds, just because of low price. Now, that hasn't been confirmed, but it's just something that was in the marketplace that really got lit a fire basically under the wheat market. Of course, it did rally quite substantially and then kind of tapered back a little bit because it hasn't been confirmed, at this point in time. But it was enough to generate some excitement. On the corn side, we did see another tender by China of 123,000 metric ton. Now, that's the seventh time that China has purchased, or seventh day consecutive, well, not consecutive day, but in the past 8 days, China has purchased 7 of those days. And the sales of corn so far in March to China have totaled 2.548 million metric tons. So they really stepped up to the plate. So we saw corn see some good strength moving into the double digits. Of course, that does follow the wheat. So wheat and corn are linked a lot of times closer together. Soybeans saw some strength. The Buenos Aires Grain Exchange continues to maintain that the production in Argentina is 25 million metric ton. That's quite a substantial decline from where we initially saw a lot of projections. And of course, the dryness, has brought that about. So, and the Argentina's imports looking to be doubled of what they were last year. So it kind of makes a switch in that market from them, being an exporter, a fairly strong exporter, to actually probably being a strong importer into their own needs and into their crushers because of the dryness that we had and the low production that we're looking at. So it'll be interesting to see where it all pans out, because sometimes those estimates and kind of overdoes itself one side or the other. I'm not saying it is, but it does provide some support under that market. So to end the week, we saw some good strength in these grain markets, led by the wheat. Now, soybean meal kind of held for a little bit early today, but that really did come to life as well. So all of the complex showed a positive close to the week.
And then what do we see on the other side of the markets in the livestock complex?
Well, we did see the strength coming back a little bit to close the week in live cattle. China is going to resume Brazilian imports after a month. The cash this week was mixed. South traded $1 lower. North was $10 higher. Boxed beef today was mixed. Choice was down $1.94, select up $1.18. That was at the noon report. Now, boxed beef has been struggling last week and this week. We've seen a lot of mixed trading, flipping back and forth from one to the other. And that's put a little bit of pressure on that market. And, packer margins are quite a bit less than they were last year, the 3-year average. So packers don't want to pay much for those cattle. Now, it'll be interesting to see how much they did purchase this week, to see how much they might have purchased ahead for deferred delivery. But we did basically between the north and south, we were kind of mixed. On the hogs, they really took off today. They've been beat down for 2 weeks and really took off today. We don't know if that's going to be able to maintain as we move through into next week, but cash was down 32 cents today on a National Direct morning report. That might change a little bit by the afternoon. It was anticipated we'd see a little bit lower cash, but it was down. But cutouts were up $1.26 now. If cutouts can maintain some strength today, it would be 3 days of this week that we actually saw a little stronger cutouts. That's a lot changed than it was the last couple of weeks. Now, good exports might have provided some support. We had some good exports yesterday on the weekly export sales, might have provided an additional support to the market. Plus, we also had a very oversold condition in that market, which maybe were the funds or those that were short wanted to square up those positions prior to the weekend. And the trade is looking at an upcoming hog and pig report next week, Thursday. So because it was beat down so much selling that went into that market, we might see the market just kind of relieve some of that pressure as they look forward to the upcoming hog and pig report and to try to relieve some of the oversold situation. So we did see some triple-digit gains, the most strength we've seen in the hog market for the last 2 weeks.
All right, Robin, lots of great information today for those of our listeners who would like to get in touch and learn more from the folks at agmarket.net. How can they do that?
Well, they can call me directly if they would like at 877-256-3253, or they can go to agmarket.net and go in there. There's phone numbers on there for contact. Anybody will be happy to pick up the phone and answer your questions or work with you.
Thanks for taking the time to visit with us as always, Robin, and we'll catch up with you again soon.
All right. Thank you. Always great to be on, and have a great weekend.
That again was Robin Schmahl of agmarket.net. We'll go ahead and take a look at how those numbers close. That's courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. At the close, May corn is up 11 1/4 at 6.43 even. December new crop up 8 even at 5.60 1/4. May soybeans up 8 3/4 at 14.28 1/4. November new crop up 15 1/4 at 12.73 1/4. May soybean meal up 6.80 at 4.45.10. May soybean oil up 1.10 at 53.27. Chicago wheat up 26 1/2 at 6.88 1/2. Minneapolis spring wheat up 16 1/4 at 8.57 1/2. Kansas City hard red wheat up 28 1/4 at 8.48 even. May oats up 7 even at 3.68 1/2. On the Merck, April live cattle up 85 at 163 even. May feeders down 105 at 197.55. April lean hogs up 142 at 77.17. April pork cutout up 92 at 83.10. April class 3 milk up 17 at 19.93. And that's been a check of the markets here on Ag Matters PM. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, I talk with Iowa 1st District Congresswoman Ashley Hinson. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today I had the chance to have my monthly chat with Iowa 1st District Congresswoman Ashley Hinson. We talked about many of the things going on in her office right now, whether that's just in the state of Iowa or even across the country. All right, there's the recording. Well, we are here with Iowa Congresswoman Ashley Hinson for our monthly chat, just to catch up a little bit on things that are going on in her office. First off, Congresswoman Hinson, what are some of the things that have been going on? You've had a busy day today. Some of the things going on in your office right now.
Yeah, we have had a very busy week. It is appropriations season on the Hill, so we are starting all of our oversight duties as members of the Appropriations Committee. So we had a hearing just yesterday with the Financial Services Committee, had Secretary Yellen before our committee, as well as the director of OMB. I questioned them specifically on TikTok and what that looks like, CFIUS's role, which obviously they are closely monitoring threats to national security with these companies. And so kind of put some pressure on the administration there, in addition to pressuring them on spending. We had a hearing last night showcasing the genocide that the CCP is perpetrating on the Uyghur people. And then today we passed the Parents' Bill of Rights, 5 pillars to help support parents and make sure they can be heard in their children's education. So it has been a very busy week here on the Hill.
Absolutely. And of course, one of the big topics in the ag industry recently, especially with the Biden administration, has been their kind of stance on E15. And one of the ways that you've been going with that is the Consumer and Fuel Retailer Choice Act. Tell us a little bit on how that legislation would work to improve that accessibility to E15 for consumers.
Yeah. Well, plain and simple, the Biden administration has been dragging its feet when it comes to ethanol. And actually, I pressured Shalonda Young yesterday. She's the director of OMB. I said, we need an answer from President Biden on E15 now. We know the EPA came out and said, hey, we'll have it for next year. But in my mind, the EPA has been lackadaisical in its approach to actually solidifying their position here. So we've backed up the governor. Senator Ernst and I have sent letters. We've introduced legislation that would continue to provide that choice for consumers. I see that as a win-win. Not only does it support our ethanol industry and biofuels in the state of Iowa, helping give our producers that certainty of a market for their product, but it also is such a good thing for consumers. It will save just hundreds of millions of dollars for over the course of driving for consumers, and it also supports a lot of jobs in the state of Iowa. So I see that as a real win-win to have that certainty, that choice. You're seeing some, I don't want to call it strange bedfellows, but, oil and gas state representatives along with ethanol state representatives who are kind of working together to help make sure that options do exist for consumers at the pump. So that is our general approach to making sure we're having a serious conversation about E15. We're having a serious conversation about preservation of the combustion engine. And we're also having a serious issue about making sure the EPA is following through in a timely manner.
Right, and we've talked about this many times before, but it's just such a great thing for the state of Iowa specifically because we're ready to go on ethanol production. And I can say personally, I've been filling up with E15, or some people might see it as an unleaded 88, and it really saves a lot of money on that gas tank.
Absolutely. I mean, I have an E85 minivan, so my flex fuel minivan, 196,000 miles and going strong. And I can't tell you the number of times where I looked at that gas price ticking up and was able to fill up for sometimes more than $1 per gallon cheaper. So again, that was my choice, right? And I think that's what it should be. It should be able to be put in the hands of consumers as a product that's available. It's clean burning. It helps support our industry. And again, this is about consumer choice. Also, when you look at the price of energy, it is one of the biggest drivers of inflation. So shouldn't we be doing everything we can to have an all of the above energy strategy to lower that cost at the pump, lower the cost of transporting our goods and services, which then has an immediate impact on inflation?
All right, Congresswoman Hinson, you've also been big on the Mexico's GMO corn ban. Obviously, that's a bad thing for the state of Iowa, being so heavy on corn production. You've written letters to the USTR, and now we have been told that there's finally a dialogue going on to get something done there. Do you have an update on that?
Well, plain and simple, Mexico needs to fulfill its end of the deal here. They promised to buy our corn as part of the USMCA trade deal. So we're going after them under the provisions of that deal where they have reneged on their commitment. And so we are working, actually, we have our hearing next week on the Ag FDA committee. I plan on asking Secretary Vilsack about his work in this space as well, because it is critical that we align cabinet all the way down to members of Congress in standing up for our trade agreement with USMCA. So that's what we want to do here. Our producers, again, this is about long-term certainty in the markets. And that trade deal, I think it's a good deal for Iowa and the country, but we need to, again, make sure people are fulfilling their end of the deal, whether it's Mexico or China. So we will be continuing to put pressure on the Mexican government so that they fill their promise and continue to buy corn from Iowa and the United States.
And I mean, a lot of people talk about following the data, the science, and the research all the time. This is another area where we have the research to prove that GMOs are a safe product. They've been around for a long time, and there's no reason to really be afraid of using that product.
Right. And we want to be very, very clear about this. We don't want people to fall victim to propaganda campaigns that say otherwise. Our products are safe. Again, this is about fulfilling that commitment that was made now several years ago. I think it was 2018, 2019 that deal was actually made and then obviously voted on and signed. So it is years in the making. And for them to pull the rug out is just, it's bad business and it's bad international relations. We have other work to do in the space of trade. And I don't want to discount that. We need to continue to look for other markets as well for our corn to go. But at the same time, we need to make sure the people we've already got these existing deals with follow through.
That again was Iowa 1st District Congresswoman Ashley Hinson. As for right now, let's go ahead and take a look at that ag weather outlook. Well, Old Man Winter and Mother Nature are still having a kind of tug of war over whether or not it's winter or spring at this point. If you look at northern parts of the state, it's still pretty chilly. There's snow and ice on the ground. You get more south, we're looking at rain, warmer temperatures, and much more spring-like. So you'll have to keep in touch with your local weather station to kind of see what it is you're looking at for your part of the state. Obviously, we live in Iowa, so those things are always going to be different no matter where you are. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the National Weather Service has in store for the next 24 hours. As you can see from the National Weather Service, there's not too much to complain about this weekend. Today we have variably cloudy skies with highs ranging from the upper 40s to mid 50s. Tonight, chances for flurries or rain across most of the state, lows ranging from the upper 20s to low 30s. Tomorrow will be mostly cloudy to partly sunny with a chance for rain or snow in the east, highs ranging from the low 40s to mid 50s. And taking a look at the affiliate weather map for tomorrow, Cherokee will be mostly cloudy with a high of 43, Shenandoah decreasing clouds, a high of 56, Des Moines mostly sunny, high of 52, Waterloo partly cloudy, high of 48, Albion mostly sunny, high of 52, and Clinton will be partly cloudy with a chance for rain or snow and a high around 45. For more detailed forecasts in your part of the state, make sure to check in with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. That's been a check of the Ag Weather Outlook, and that also brings us to the end of this episode of Ag Matters PM. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and LinkedIn. And you can find all of our video content as well as previous episodes of AMPM on our YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell to see when those videos go live. Don't forget as well our free twice daily market podcast on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. On behalf of Mark Magnuson and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.